Embroidered items are one of the best things you can sell in your shop as a print-on-demand seller. Now, I'm super excited because in today's video, I'm going to show you the full process of actually making and selling a embroidered hat or baseball cap to sell on a place like Etsy. These are very popular items and especially really popular gifts around the Q4 season, which makes them really perfect to focus on right now. Now, I'm super excited because Printify has just fully updated and revamped their brand new embroidery options. So if you've been selling with Printify before, you already know how many amazing products that they have that you can sell as regular print-on-demand items, but now you can start to actually sell embroidered items, which just opens a whole world of possibilities for you that you might not have been taking advantage of before. Now, making and selling embroidered items is very simple, but it's a completely different process than you might be used to with print-on-demand items. So that's why I'm going to explain everything you need to know right here in this video while walking you through the full process of finding a niche, designing a product, and actually uploading it for the embroidery specifications. So I'm just going to jump over to my Printify account here. Now, if you don't have a Printify account, you can make a totally free one down below and be able to sell print on demand and embroidered items with them. They are the manufacturing partner I have been using for years. I love them and I trust that their items always are going to be high quality and get to my customers on time. So I just can't say enough good things about them. But over in the catalog section, I am just going to go to where it says new for their embroidery, and I'm going to click on that tab right here. And this is going to take us to some of their popular embroidered products. Now, sweatshirts, especially this time of year, are a very popular gift to give for embroidery. And in fact, I have a full video tutorial that I will link here on actually how to make embroidered sweatshirts. But today we're going to be focusing on creating a cap. So they have kind of a classic baseball cap, they have a trucker cap, and they have this kind of flat bill snapback right here. All of these are really great options, but I really like just the classic baseball cap style. That's probably the most widely bought on a place like Etsy. So that's what we're going to be designing today. So I'm just going to click on this here. And as you can see, the design is going to take up a lot of the space on this cap here, which looks very nice. So all we have to do before we get started is just click start designing. Now, right here on our design uploader, it's going to give us the exact dimensions that we want to be using for this, which is going to be 1200 by 675 pixels. So that's exactly what we are going to plug into our design suite. Now, today for my design suite, I am using Canva, but you can use any design suite that you're comfortable with. So if you usually use Kittle, that is a perfect place to use. And in fact, I use them all the time for making these types of designs. But if you use Affinity Designer or something else like that, that is going to work perfectly fine too. So what we're first going to do is just go ahead and create a design here. And I'm going to make a custom size that's going to be 1200 by 675 and go ahead and create that. Now, before we even really think about the design we're creating, the step that we're missing is still figuring out what niche we are going to be selling in today. This is arguably the most important part of the process, is making sure you have a niche that not only people are really looking for and wanting to buy, but also that there's low enough competition for you to not get lost in a whole sea of other people selling similar items. So I actually have a tool for you guys. A lot of you have used this before, but if you've never used it, I have something called my cross niching guidebook, and I have a free workshop down below all about how you use this. I'm going to send you the guidebook as well as about an hour-long tutorial on how to really use this cross niching method. But one thing that I love about this guidebook I created is it just has a bunch of lists of the most popular different careers, hobbies, pet types, family members, holidays. So all of those are going to be really great things to target, especially around Q4 when people are buying a lot of gifts based on people's hobbies, their interests, things that they know about them. So I'm going to scroll down here to the hobbies section because I think I want to create a design that is in a hobby. So we have things like reading, painting, gardening, pottery, hiking, chess, fishing, hunting. All of those could be really great niches, especially if we combine them with something else. Let's see here on this next page. We have meditation, archery, kayaking, calligraphy, beekeeping. And I think one that I really want to target today that has been doing so well in the hobby department, especially on Etsy, is the pickleball niche, or like something with pickleball dads. So we are going to take the niche of pickleball and kind kind of just run with that for our design. So let's head back over to our design suite. Now, there are two things that you have to keep in mind when you come about creating a embroidery design versus a regular print on demand design. So with embroidered designs, you are limited to the types of thread colors that are available to your manufacturer. So when it comes to printing t-shirts or sweatshirts, really the sky is the limit with what color combinations they can make because they are using ink to print these. But when you're using thread, you can't just make up any kind of color out there. You really have to get very specific and use some certain colors. So these are the specific Printify colors that you can stick to and use. So there are still tons of options that we have available to us, but we don't want to go crazy. Now, I'll actually have a free download for you guys where you can get a guide of what colors you can use when you're making your designs, as well as some of the best practices for creating an embroidered item. But along with these limited colors, the other thing you have to keep in mind is you want to create designs that are much more simple. So in the elements here, I just went ahead and I looked up pickleball. So I'm going to show you a couple examples of items that would work versus items that would not work. So this pickleball here, while it's the wrong color, this type of item is going to work really well because it is one solid color. So it's not getting into any gradients, there's no shadowing, it's not like hand drawn. But if you see here, this similar style design is not going to work well because it is more of that like watercolor drawn style. There's a lot of different colors going on here, even though it might not seem like it at first glance. We have tons of variations in the types of pinks. We have a lot of texture going on here, and we can't edit this to be the right color. So this is the type of graphics we want to stay away from and limit ourselves to more simple graphics. Now, it doesn't just have to be one color. You can use a couple colors throughout your design, but the simpler you make it, the better it's going to actually work when it is embroidered on your hat. Now, looking through these, I do think I want to put a pickleball in this design somewhere, and I really like this one. Now, at first, it might not seem like the most ideal type of item to use because it has a few different colors here, but we can just make a couple quick changes to make sure that this is the exact right type of thing we want to use. So these yellows here, we're all just going to change them to the same safe yellow shade. So if we look down here, that's going to be FFAD1F. So I'm just going to click on the color here, go to where it says plus, and type in that. All right, so I changed that first color, and I'm just going to keep clicking on these and changing them to that exact same color just to make it a lot more simple. Now on our design, we definitely want it to say something. So I was thinking of either just having like the words pickleball be right up top here, or we could get even more specific by crossing the niche of pickleball with something like dad. So it could say like pickleball dad. So I'm going to go over to text and I'm going to add some heading here. And I just went ahead and put the words pickleball right here. Now that font really isn't doing anything spectacular. So I think I want to do something that's almost like university style lettering where it's a really bold font with some serifs on it. So I'm going to go over to the text and I'm just going to look up bold serif and see what that brings up. So this chunk 5, that could be a good option. This alpha slab 1, I actually really like that, and it's bold enough that it's going to translate really well. So that is going to be a really good option here. Now, definitely fonts that you want to stay away from is going to be anything with texture. So if I did a bold font like this, it looks really cool, and this would be a perfect font for something like a t-shirt. But since it has all this texture, it's not really going to embroider well. We want to be using solid shapes, solid text, so we're not going to do that. Now, I think I want to add a little bit more interest to this, so I'm just going to go over to the text effects up here, and I think I want to add a little bit of a curve. I think that looks really good, and I'm just going to resize it to take up a lot of this canvas here and move it up to the top. And then I want this ball to kind of overlap a little bit with those letters here. I think that would look good, and I could even move it a little bit like this. So for your design, you'll just have to play around with it until you're happy. Now, the one last thing I could add here, and this would make it even a design that you could kind of make scalable, and just by changing out one word, have a bunch of different designs. So I could add another small line of text right here on this side that just says something like dad. And then we could literally make 50 different designs that have things like pickleball grandpa, pickleball grandfather, pickleball father, even pickleball mom, pickleball aunt. So this I think is going to be a perfect design. It's just 2 colors, which keeps it very simple, but everything is nice and bold. So it's going to translate really well to an embroidered design. So I'm going to go over here to where it says share, and we're going to download this image. Now we're going to make sure that it's only this one page right here. We want to click that it has a transparent background. That's really important. And then we are going to download it as a PNG. Now, one thing you might not have known about embroidery is you are going to need to use files that are digitized to print this. Now, don't get worried about that because this is something Printify is going to do for you when you receive your first order or you place your first sample order for this specific design. So digitization is just going to take the PNG file that you upload and it is going to translate it so the embroidery machine can actually read that and understand what it needs to do. So for every single new design that you create, this file is only going to need to be digitized one time, which just means the first time you either sell this item or order it for yourself, it could take an extra 36 hours for your design to be digitized. So that's something to keep in mind when you make a sale on one of your first embroidered items. But the following times the same design is ordered, you're not going to have to worry about that extra process. Now, if you've done embroidery before, you might have your very own digitized files that you want to use, and there are a lot of different varying techniques when it comes to actually digitizing files. So if you're selling on Printify, they're going to do their very own process, so you can't necessarily use your own digitized files, but you can just upload PNGs kind of the same way you would for a regular print-on-demand item. So let's head back over to our item on Printify and get this uploaded so we can start actually working on the title, description, and getting it actually in our Etsy shop. All right, so back on our hat, we're going to go over to the upload section here, and we're going to click on my device and just upload that brand new artwork. All right, so that looks really good. And one thing to note is that embroidered designs, they can't be adjusted once you upload them. So you need to make sure that you like the placement when you are actually creating the design. So sometimes for a t-shirt, you might make it a little bit smaller on the canvas, but stretch that out once you actually are placing the design. But if we had placed this pickleball dad phrase closer to the bottom, that's how it was going to print. So just make sure you really like the placement of everything. So let's go ahead and preview this. And that is looking really good, very sharp. The embroidery is super clear here. So we're just going to go ahead and save this product and start editing it. Now here we can select the mockups that we want to include. It's going to include this regular product shot, but we might want to have one with a person in it as well, and go ahead and save that. Now this is where we're going to start editing all of the listing details. So the title, description, and tags are going to be the most important for helping us get seen on Etsy. So we want to make sure we're putting a lot of effort in those. But if this is something that really scares you, Printify actually has an awesome newer tool that you might not be super familiar with, and that is their AI generated titles, descriptions, and tags. It's really easy to use, and it's an amazing jumping off point for getting these done in a lot less time. So I'm going to show you how to use that for this niche right here. So we're going to click generate with AI, and it's really important when you are describing your design that you're also including a lot of those really important keywords that you want to hit on. So for us, it's definitely going to be like pickleball. We could even do something like funny, dad, father, Father's Day, Christmas gift, all of those words we want to make sure it's including. So I'm going to say funny pickleball dad. So as I went, I just threw in some different words. It just said funny pickleball dad, embroidered baseball cap for fathers, great gift for Christmas, birthday for grandpa, dada, daddy, pickleball player. So I'm going to go ahead and click generate, and it is going to analyze similar listings and give us the best result for this. So we're just going to go ahead and apply that. Now, one thing to note is that for these AI generated titles and descriptions and tags, this should really just be your jumping off point. I don't really like to just take it at face value. I always want to be making sure I'm looking at this and seeing what little tweaks I can make to just make the SEO a little bit better here. But it's a great place to start, and sometimes helps me think of things that I wouldn't have originally. So it's got those main words right at the beginning, which I love: embroidered pickleball dad cap, baseball cap for fathers, great Christmas birthday gift for grandpa, dada, daddy, pickleball player, funny. And so I might change out the word great to best Christmas birthday gift, because a lot of people are looking up like best Christmas gift for dad who plays pickleball. And then I don't like that there's like this comma between pickleball player and funny, and I might even do funny pickleball player instead, because I feel like someone might look up funny pickleball player hat So I'm going to go ahead and do that there because it didn't include the word hat here. And then for the description, this does play into your SEO, but it did include a lot of those good keywords we want. And so I'm not going to mess with that a lot. Now down here for the tags, I find is where it needs the most help typically, because a lot of times it's going to include words that maybe are a little bit too generic. So I'm going to take out just the generic like baseball hat and birthday gift, and I'm going to include something like pickleball dad and funny pickleball gift. And then I think those are probably pretty good to go. Now, as far as pricing goes, you're going to want to make sure that you're actually selling this, that you're making enough profit margin. So right now it's telling us we're going to make $15 when we sell this item, around the 40% profit margin. But when it comes to all the fees and stuff that Etsy is going to take out, that number is going to typically be a lot smaller. So you just want to make sure you're making enough and charging enough for all your items that you're not losing money. Now, another thing I like to do is I typically like to edit my prices so that they end in things like 99. So if I can ever get stuff to be like $29.99 or $39.99, that is what I want to aim for. I just think it looks a lot cleaner, especially for items where you have multiple sizes. If you can get them all to end in like $29.99, $39.99, that is going to be the best. Now we're going to go down here to the publishing settings and make sure it's syncing all these product details that we just created. And we're going to click publish, and that's going to move it over to our Etsy shop. Now, right now the status says publishing right here, and we're just going to have to wait a few minutes for that to actually change over to green and say published here. And after just a couple minutes, the status right here has changed to publish, so we can go over to our Etsy store and do some additional editing there. All right, so in our listings, this new cap is showing up right here. And if we want to edit it on Etsy, we're just going to click this gear icon and click edit. Now, all of that information that we had changed over in our listing has translated over, which is great. But at this point, if you wanted to, you could add some additional mock-up photos. Now, typically, I'm going to recommend that you are going to make your very own mock-ups on a place like Placeit or download some to use from Etsy. That's just going to make your items look the most unique. But for these, today we're just going to stick with the auto-generated ones that Printify did. It really shows off the product. Now, I could either have just the generic product shot or a person in the photo. It's kind of up to you, but typically you're going to want to make your own mock-ups. Now, all of our other information has synced over, so we don't need to adjust anything like the price or the description. And then we're going to add it to the shop section that we want. So if you don't have a shop section that something would fit really well in, you just want to make one at this point. The shop section actually does play into your SEO. So if you aren't using this, it's kind of a missed opportunity. So I have one that's just called Embroidered Gifts. I'm going to put it in there, but I could also put it in like a dad section or Father's Day gift section. Those could all work. And then I am going to keep it on a manual renewal. So this just means that when the few months have come up for this listing to renew and for Etsy to charge me that 20 cents again, I want to manually review that and make sure there's no changes I want to make if it hasn't made a sale at that point. So if an item makes a sale, it's going to automatically renew. But if 4 months have come and gone and this hasn't gotten any traction, I probably need to make some adjustments. So I'm going to keep that on manual and just click publish changes. Now our listing has been updated, and if we want to see what it looks like on Etsy, we can again click this gear and just view on Etsy, and this will take us over to the finished listing. So we can see those couple photos here. The embroidery on this looks great, and then we can see the edited price as well as the title and description here. Now there's a few different resources I used throughout this video, all of them free if you want to start doing this. So you can just create your free Printify account down below. If you do want to get access to that Cross Nation guidebook that I have, as well as the workshop on how to use it, you can also sign up down below at the link, and I'll send all the information to your email inbox. And I have that free download for you guys that has the very specific colors that you should be using for embroidered designs. Now, if you want even more inspiration of creating some really good embroidered products, I recommend watching this one that shows you a very similar process, but how to do this for a sweatshirt, which is another type of item you want to start adding to your shop. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.